welcome back to WsCube Tech. So guys, in our previous sessions, we covered file handling and their methods. We also covered the problem solving related to the file handling. I hope you guys have no doubts and no questions from our previous module. In our today's session, we will be starting with a completely new topic, that is introduction to classes and objects. Now, first of all, what are these classes and objects? So Python is a language that supports OOP programming. Now, what is OOP programming? That is object-oriented programming language. Python is an object-oriented programming language. Object-oriented programming language over here means that here objects and classes are created. So here programming can be done in a systematic way with the help of OOPs. That means we can create classes and objects over here. Now talking about what are these classes and objects, let's understand what are classes and objects.
Before that, if you want to become a successful data analyst and if you want to learn from our experts live, then you can call on the given number or you can fill the form that is provided in our description. Not just that, with our every batch, you will be getting 2 demo classes for free.
So guys, classes can be defined as the blueprint for creating objects. Now what does this blueprint mean? That let's take an example over here, guys. Let's say when I say the word chair to you, so what comes into your mind? So maybe, something that we can sit on, something that has 4 legs, something that has 2 armrests, something that has a backrest as well. So that kind of a structure comes to your mind, and to everyone's mind that kind of structure only would come, because what it is a blueprint that the basic chair should look like this. So the idea of a basic chair should look like this. That is a blueprint over here. Now talking about objects, how we will define the object is that any class without objects is completely incomplete. So what is completely incomplete over here? That even though if we have created a class, suppose we have a chair in our mind, but we have not executed it anywhere, if we have not created a chair, if we have not made anything out of it, like it's just a blueprint, right? It's a blueprint on a paper. Let's understand in this way, that it's a blueprint on a paper, but we have not created the real structure, then it is completely incomplete, right? So object is what over here? Object is an instance of a class over here. So we will be learning how to create these classes and objects in Python. So let's get started. So to create a class, there is a very simple method that we have to write class. Now what class we want to create? Let's say I want to create a class employee over here. So I'll be writing employee and put a colon. So this is my employee class over here. This is how a class has been created. Now inside this class, I'll be writing some data over here, that maybe I'll be creating a function, that definition employee details, and I'll be passing one self parameter over here. Now what is this self parameter? Self parameter is a parameter that needs to be passed over here. Now this term self itself is not required to be used. It's an object that is calling itself. Like self is a kind of an object that is calling itself. For this we don't have to pass any value also. And the word self also is not required over here. It is automatically coming over here, just like how when we write our first program in any language, it is hello world. Simply here also self is just a word over here. If you write ABC, XYZ or any other word also, you even write your name also, that would also work over here. So self is nothing but it's just an object that calls itself, which is mandatory to be used over here. Now inside it I want to pass details, that the employee code of the first employee is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, this is the data that I want to pass inside it, right? Now this is a class has been created which has a function employee details, and here inside it some data has been written. Now what to do over here? Now suppose if I run it, nothing will happen over here. If I run just this much, now what will happen over here? If I run it, nothing will happen over here. Nothing, because a class without an object, as I said, it is completely incomplete. So if I run this much data over here, nothing will happen. Now what we need to do? We need to create an object. For creating an object, what we need to do? Suppose if I create a variable emp is equals to employee, open close the bracket. So an object has been created. Even though if I run it now, nothing would happen. Every time I run it, nothing will happen. We have to get it printed over here. So for getting it printed over here, what we will be doing? We will be writing emp dot employee details, open close the parentheses. Now if I run it, I'll get my data over here, that the employee code of the first employee is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is how we print the data. We write the name of the object along with the function which carries the data that we want over here. Similarly, you can create many objects over here. Suppose if I create employee 1 is equals to employee, open close the parentheses, and I do the same over here, that emp1 dot employee details, and run it, I'll get the same data twice over here. Now, why I'm getting it twice? Because in one class, you can create thousands and hundreds and millions and billions of objects in one class. So there are no limits of objects, but class remains one over here. So from one class, you can create endless number of objects over here. That is a plus point over here, that we can create as many objects that we want. Not just function over here, guys. If you pass a variable also over here, that would also work. So it does not only works with the function, but it works with the variables and other things as well. So you can use any data inside it. What is the plus point of using OOP programming? That means object oriented programming. That means these classes and objects is that it makes your program more systematic. It makes it more graceful. It makes it more elegant looking wise. Plus, when you go for the debugging part, it makes it easier. You know that in which part of the code there is a mistake, and you can quickly go to that part and make the changes over there. So that is a plus point of using object oriented programming. There isn't like without object oriented programming you cannot write the code, but if you will use the object oriented programming in Python to write the code, then yes, it will make your program look much more better. It will simplify it, just not just for you, for the others also. And it also, object oriented programming also follows the concepts of inheritance. That means our real life entities, that is inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation. So we will be learning all those in our upcoming sessions. So I hope guys, you guys have no doubts and no questions in what is objects and what are classes. So in our next session we will be discussing about methods and constructors in OOP. So stay connected guys, and I'll see you in the next session. Thank you.